Three, two, one.
So, back to the technology show. It is the technology show where we translate geek into regular speak. I'm Brett Levy, I'm your host this week. So, we have a jam-packed show as always. Let's just get all the slides up and get everything ready to rock and roll. And to kick off with, we'll go into things with a Z. So, what have we got here? Let's get all that up. Click. 7. Why is it not going into my show slides? Don't you love it when you have fun in tech? Let's try that again. So we should be able to get this into. Please bear with me. I'm having fun in games here, trying to get my shortcuts to work, which I thought I'd done. There we go. Right. So back to the technology show. At least you know the show is live, because that kind of stuff would have been on an editor's floor somewhere. Not yet. So into things with a Z. Wi-Fi is critical to our lives. Most of us know, we agree. Probably after trying to get a printer to work, extending the reach of your Wi-Fi in your home is the next biggest time consumer. Well, I might have a solution for you. So if you're watching the show, you'll see the picture up on the screen. If not, it's the Eero Pro 6E. And also the Amazon Echo Dot 5th Gen. The gen is important, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But why am I reviewing a router and a smart speaker? These aren't new, right? Glad you asked. In accordance with the architect Louis H. Sullivan, my father-in-law would be so proud of me now because I'm quoting famous architects. Anyway, he said form follows function. Now, a smart speaker takes up space and provides a singular feature to be a smart speaker. But not anymore. You see, now when you use the Eero Pro 6E and the Echo Dot, it acts as a Wi-Fi extender, which is pretty damn cool. I actually have been playing with this for a couple of weeks now, and I must tell you that the range is amazing. Sorry, I'm just looking all over the place because my screen has given me a couple of warnings. Hopefully everyone can hear everything. Maybe jump on the chat, let me know. So back to the review of the Eero Pro 6E and the Echo Dot. Now, instead of having mesh network blocks, and if you don't know what that is, little small blocks that you'll see around people's homes, that's a mesh network. So the only way to create a mesh network is one plugs in by the router, and then the other two get moved around. And the idea is to extend or create a mesh network across your house. But that's all that they do. They literally extend your network. They're not aesthetically pleasing either, but they are functional. So if we look at the Pro Eero, I'm actually just going to call it the Eero device for now. So it's the Eero Pro 6E. There is an Eero Pro 6. I reviewed the E. It is a superb router. There are 2 LAN ports. One is rated at 1 gigabits per second. The other is at 2.5 gigabits per second. Now, that's data transfer speed. And I can see people going, yeah, but in Australia, we only get a fraction of the internet speed. It would be awesome if we could get better internet speed. I hear you. I'm one of those people. You know, I live with a gamer at home and we play games all the time, and then the Netflix is going. That's not what this is about. Data transfer speeds are important when you are offline, when you're moving files around your network. Maybe you've got a file server in your home where movies are sitting and you want to share it around. That's where 1 gigabit or even better 2.5 gigabits per second comes into it. So if you picture an 8K movie and you want to move that across your Wi-Fi network, you want 2.5 gigabits per second. Now, the Eero is designed to be configured as a wide mesh system as well. I only have the standalone unit, and that's all that I use for the review. The standalone unit reports 190 square meters squared of coverage, and up to 100 devices can be connected. Now, for smaller places or single-story dwellings, I'm going to say that's more than enough. I don't think you're going to have more than 100 devices that ever need to connect. And 190 square meters, if you position your device pretty much in the middle of the house or the unit, you're going to get the coverage that you need. Now, this is something that I do need to point out as well. Most people don't have the choice as to where their internet connection comes into the home. And normally, like if you take some of these homes that are designed deep and linear, you don't get to choose, and it's normally right at the other side where you don't want it. Run a cable from that point where it comes into your home to the middle of your home and put the unit there. You'll be so impressed with the coverage that you have. It removes so many hurdles. If you can't run a cable, well, as I said, you're going to get up to about 190 squares, but remember that's from the middle all the way around. So you're only going to get half of that going the one way, and the other half is going to feed your neighbor or the people across the road. I happen to live in a double story, so that makes it a little bit more interesting, and that was what intrigued me, and what the reason I set out to do this review is that I wanted to see if there was a better mesh system. Now, this is where the Amazon magic comes in. So, if you didn't know, Amazon owns Eero. Maybe I probably should have put that out in the beginning as well. But anyway, so where this comes in is basically they own Eero, and obviously they own the Echo system of smart speakers and devices. So I paired the Echo Dot 5th Gen and I placed this downstairs. Voila, internet connectivity, far-reaching corner of my downstairs living area. I've got this like section where you go downstairs and then it goes to like a little outside section. You can never get good internet there, ever. And unfortunately, where I live, the phone depends on Wi-Fi calling as well. I'm with that horrible yellow and blue network, and most of my phone calling is Wi-Fi supported. So if I'm standing in that part of the house without Wi-Fi coverage, without telco coverage, I actually don't get phone calls. So that was quite an important thing for me to try and cover. I'm very pleased to say that the Echo Dot did what it was supposed to do. It extended the Wi-Fi, and I was pretty stoked. And I suppose I also now have Alexa and Alexa features, and I can use all the Alexa features downstairs, like drop in. So that's like making a phone call, and listen to music and all the things that you get from your smart speaker as well. Right. So the one thing I do need to point out though is I mentioned the speed of the Eero. That's not available with the Echo Dot. Now on the Echo Dot, it says it's rated up to 100 megabits per second. I did a speed test and I was getting about 85. I don't believe that was the Eero or the Dot's fault. I think that's just all that was being delivered to the house at that moment in time. Now, if you're in Australia, 100 megs is pretty much what you're going to get in most homes anyway. So it shouldn't be a deal breaker. And remember, that's still 100 megs per second is still pretty damn fast. It's more than enough to stream high quality and high definition content as well. But it's not the 1 gigabit per second or the 2.5 megabits per second that the Eero is capable of delivering. So just bear that in mind. I'd hate you to think, oh, Brett told me to buy one of these and, that's all it supports. On that note, which is impressive, you can still connect up to 10 devices as well to that one single dot. So, if you were sitting, so the area that I've described, I've got a table there. If I sat there with my Mac, with my phone, I don't know, choose another device, maybe my watch. All three of them would connect seamlessly to that part of the Wi-Fi network, and I'd be connected in a spot that previously was dead. So for me, that's a win straight away. If I want to do some heavy downloading or gaming, yes, I would move back upstairs and be closer to the Eero itself. More importantly, and I've said this many times, when it comes to things like gaming or high definition content consumption, plug in. Cable will always be better than Wi-Fi. And using a device like this, it's going to take the content up to 2.5 gigabits per second. Probably have to live in Korea to experience something like that. Anyway, the compatible devices. So I mentioned in the beginning, there is currently 5 Echo devices that are compatible with the Eero to act as Wi-Fi extenders. That's the Echo Dot with clock 5th gen. That's the one that I've used. The Echo Dot 5th gen without clock. So one's got a clock in the mesh. The same for the 4th gen with clock or without clock. And the Echo, just the Echo 4th gen. I actually don't know what that is, unless it's just me and a typo. I'm not sure if there was just an Echo. Someone can correct me if I was wrong. I know the Dot. I know there was like the little disc thing as well, which I think is the Dot originally. There's Amazon Auto. There's Amazon Echo with screen. Just by the way, the Amazon Echoes with screen do not support Wi-Fi extending. So I've got one. I've actually reviewed on the show a couple of months back. It doesn't do it. I tried that first. It doesn't work. So I'm saving you some time and frustration. It does need to be one of those 5 that I just mentioned, or at least 4. Echo 4th gen and Echo 5th gen dots with and without clock. Now, speaking of compatibility, the Eero Pro 6E, I'm still doing the full name. Anyway, it also works as a smart hub. So basically, if you want to connect a Meta device, a Zigbee device, or use it as a thread interface, it does all of this. Now, I say it does all that because, and I have mentioned this before, I reviewed a device a few weeks ago that was also Meta control capable, and I said the same thing I'm about to say now. I don't have any devices that are Zigbee or Meta controlled, so I haven't been able to test this out for myself. But apparently, and again, I think we live in a day and age when a brand like Amazon would not lie about something like this or false advertise. But yeah, the device acts as a thread smart hub and will control Meta and Zigbee devices. So actually, note to self, I need to get myself something that is a Meta device. I will do that, and I will do a show where I've actually then controlled it, and I'll just say, hey, remember when I said I was going to get a device? I'm going to get a device. I got a device. The Eero has its own app, super easy to set up. I think this is something we've come to almost expect as consumers, that if there isn't an app or website that actually launches and manages our technology for us, I would probably recommend sidestepping it. The Eero thankfully has an app. You go into it, you just select the device that you want to add to it. You don't, just by the way, even though Amazon owns Eero, you can use it as a standalone router and Wi-Fi system without connecting your Amazon account. If you want to extend Wi-Fi through one of the Echo Dots, you do need to actually sign into your Amazon account. So bear that in mind. If you don't have an Amazon account, well, if you don't have an Amazon account, you probably couldn't buy the Eero and or Dot anyway. So you would have one, but you would have to sign into it to control it. But then once you're in there, you link it to the Eero app. It's all good to go. And yeah, that's basically it. So app's super intuitive, super easy to use. I think this is where you add the Meta and Zigbee devices as well. I have worked with other controllers and controller hubs where you go in and you add your devices through their hub. I'm assuming that it will all happen inside the Eero app. Again, I don't know the answer because I don't have any of those devices. So with Black Friday / Cyber Monday a week away, if you're looking at doing something for your home network, you may want to consider what Amazon has on special. I don't know if any of these devices are going to be on special. I'd be shocked if they're not. As I said, it's Amazon's own technology, and based on last year's experience, I picked up some incredible deals on Amazon stuff. I think I bought the little Pop, the Echo Pop, which is not Wi-Fi extender compatible, but I think I picked it up for like $10 or $20 or something like that. So yeah, if you have been frustrated with the connectivity in your network, then yeah, have a look next week, Friday. Maybe get a good deal. Right, so that takes us on to tech news. So what do we have in tech news? This last week, Sunday, Netflix streamed the Tyson Paul fight. Now, we won't talk about the fight, but rather how the streaming network performed, or maybe I need to mention the fight actually, because I think the network got hammered like Iron Mike. Positive, Netflix looking at live events. Negative, their system's not ready for it. There's a lot of drop transmissions, low bandwidth issues. I was watching at some stage and I could hardly see the difference between Tyson or Paul for that matter. It was so blurry and such low bandwidth. And no, that had nothing to do with the Eero because I wasn't actually using it. So don't be cocky and cheeky. But yeah, as I said, positive. Netflix is thinking about getting into live events and that. I know that they're going to be streaming two of the major NFL Christmas games. And I think I also saw something about Beyonce doing the halftime event at one of these games, or maybe she's just doing an event and they're going to be filming it. But either or, I mean, I'm going to be pretty certain that an NFL game is probably bigger than the Tyson Paul fight, which means more traffic. If Beyonce is involved, even more traffic. So hopefully they get that right. It's still a month away or month and a half away to go. Not even actually a month and 5 days away. But yeah, it was a bit disappointing, if I'm honest. I was expecting a lot more from a consumption point of view. You know, if you think about the other networks, the paid sports networks out there, I could have watched the fight in full HD, no issues, no streaming or buffering. So yeah, they need to pick up their socks there. And then speaking of Christmas, I don't even know. I've tried to find a way to get a segue into this, but in Switzerland, you can now confess to AI Jesus. Yep, the confessional has a screen with an avatar in that has like this semblance of what the perception of Jesus might be, and AI Jesus will dispense spiritual advice. Maybe tell you to do 5 Hail Marys and not to do that again. Probably not a good idea to confess any sins, especially sins that could come with some form of jail term. The sanctity of confession probably doesn't apply to AI, given that AI needs the internet to work. So you're not just speaking to someone on the other side, you're speaking to the entire world if it gets hacked. I don't know if every confessional around the world is going to adopt AI Jesus, but yeah, well, it's Switzerland, right? Now, Microsoft is at it again. They are copying. This time they're copying from Google, not Apple, and more specifically, the success of Chromium or Chrome OS as a whole. If you don't know Chromium or Chrome OS, the Chrome book runs on Chrome OS, which is a Chromium derivative, which is the engine that's used to build the Chrome browser that a lot of us use and love. I'm on a Chrome browser right now as I speak to you. They planning on launching a mini PC for Windows 365 next year. It's called the Link or the Windows 365 Link, and it's going to be sold at $350. I'm assuming that's US. It's basically a thin client machine for people, or more specifically, probably businesses that run their business on Office 365. So it's a virtual machine or cloud-based, and the idea is that you will just plug in your monitors and your peripherals. By the way, that $350 would not include, well, it might include the keyboard and mouse. I don't know. I doubt it. But it definitely won't include monitors, right? You still have to buy those as well, but you'd have to buy those with any PC desktop. But I think, look, it would be perfect for business if you do run on the Office 365 platform. Not a bad idea. Definitely makes hardware more affordable for companies. The only problem is what happens when the internet goes down. Being a thin client, there's no hard drive, there's no offline mode. Nothing that I saw mentioned in the article that I read about it. But if you're running a business with multiple desks, multiple tenancies, this could have a significant impact on your hardware and IT costs. Equally, if it's cloud-based, that means the longevity of your hardware would be increased quite substantially as well, because you wouldn't have to replace the processor or um, add RAM or anything like that because everything's happening in the cloud. You would need good, solid internet with good speed. Anyway, not a bad idea. Not an original idea, taking a page from Google's book. And what else have we got in news? Roblox. So Roblox announced it will block under 13s from messaging other players online in game. So they won't be able to use the DM function, and equally won't be able to DM externally onto the internet through Linkside either. Now, and this is unless parents or guardians grant permission. It's a great idea, but I kind of think this should have been standard from day one. Like, you know, the internet is a predatory place, right? So, yeah, I kind of thought that as Roblox, they probably should have thought about something like this before it got to the point now where they need to do something like this. I can only assume there's been a few more incidences that just brought it to attention. But look, rather too late than never. I think it's a great idea. And that's quite a nice segue into Are You Game? Now, last show I mentioned and promised that I would talk about a game that I've been playing. And I did that. So, without further ado, let's bring up some screens on that if you're watching the show. The game I played is called Copycat. And all I can say is, what a beautiful game. It's developed by a small Aussie indie developer, Spoonful of Wonder. I would recommend playing it in one sitting. So you're going to need 3 to 4 hours, depending on how involved you get inside the gameplay. It's a narrative game. You basically play as Dawn, a recently adopted cat whose owner is an elderly lady, Olive, and she's got you from a shelter to replace her previous cat. Um, there's a lot of fun and mischief to be had while the two are trying to figure each other out. Most of the game is played in the third person. I got a couple of screeners up there for you to see. Um, there's a couple of first person experiences, like you can knock stuff off the table in the kitchen. And it's so funny. I've got 2 cats. I love my cats, and that's just the one thing I've never ever understood. Why cats have this need to knock stuff off a table. It doesn't matter what I put on the table, the cat will jump up there and he'll knock the stuff off. Anyway, back to the game. So there's also a couple of like little Indus Runner type plays as well. Like there's certain scenes where you play it as in like a I use the term endless runner to explain the engine. Like if you think of Subway Surfer, or what's the other one where you play in, or I don't know, but endless runner. Um, One day, Olive doesn't emerge from her room. There's a note here: get tissues. This is where the game becomes quite something. Now, I can't actually discuss anything more about this game beyond this point without ruining the game experience. Not that there's anything wrong with the game. The game is beautiful. All I can say is there really are some despicable human beings in the world slash game, maybe in real life, maybe they're based on real people. I hope not. It does go a bit of a dark direction. I said, no, bring the tissue box. Um, but yeah, I can't talk about it. It would ruin the game. They're a small indie developer firm, as I said. The game's on Steam. It's PC only. Hey, small developer team. I know resources are bad, but what about the Mac version? Hashtag just saying. But yeah, if you're looking for a narrative game, a game that where you don't really have to figure it out. It's going to figure itself out. And you're going to go down a couple of journeys and make a couple of choices. 3 4 hours, so maybe nice Saturday afternoon, just chilling, nothing else to do. You can either clean your room or play a cool game. I know which way I'm going to go. But yeah, 2 thumbs up. Well done, Spoonful of Wonder. Really, really beautiful game. Can't wait to see what else comes from them. I'm sure this is just the beginning of some really amazing game dev. So yeah, well done. I thoroughly enjoyed, and yeah, I can't ruin anything else. I'm just going to leave it there. 2 thumbs up. So if that's Are You Game, then that means we are at Q&A. Um, so I get this question every year. The question is, where's the best place to shop for BFCM, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals? Um, so I get the question pretty much every year, and I'm going to answer it pretty much the same way. There is no best place. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but there isn't. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday should be planned in advance. You need to decide, what are you looking to buy, then research it, find all the prices, write them down. Shout out to Alon. He normally does a spreadsheet. He's got like a spreadsheet if you buy this here and blah, blah, blah. And if you use ShopBack and you get 5% vouchers, and he's got a whole thing taped. Like this is like a geek time of the year for him. But be that as it may, right? Write it down, know what you're looking for, know what the price points are currently, and then when the weekend arrives, do a quick search. Like type that product into your browser and see what comes up. That's where the deals are. Also, don't just go for the big name sites. Like don't just go to Amazon, or don't just go to eBay, or I don't know, anywhere for that matter. There will be other deals out there. Equally, be careful. If you're going to go to an unknown site, check and see if it's legit. A lot of scams are going to come up around this time. You're already seeing them now. Um, have a look at the URL. Have a look at the history of the site. If you're not that tech savvy and you don't know how to do it, just do a simple search. Say, is acme.com a real site or reputable site? Use the word reputable. And straight away, if they've been on a scam alert, it'll be flagged. Maybe look at the website. Look at how the checkout box is. Does it look like it's just cut and paste? Look for things like ipsum lorem along the bottom. Like they've taken a template and they haven't even taken the time to take that out. Go into the terms and conditions. Read through them. No one reads terms and conditions. They know that. That's why they don't spend a lot of time there. So if you go into the terms and conditions, go all the way down to the end where there's normally, if there's any questions or comments, please send an email to. Make sure that URL matches the URL of the website. These are a couple of hacks that can help you just generally, not even over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But there will be good deals out there. Maybe not only with the big box stores. But finally, buy what you need, not necessarily what you want. Although the deals are good, if you don't have the money to waste, maybe you don't need to buy it. Like maybe that's something to consider. Everyone's that I've been speaking to, they've said it's been a pretty tough year. They've done it tough. We're going into a festive time now where you probably need some cash because it's going to be partying and drinking and holidaying and all those things. So, that's always my rule of thumb. A great deal is a great deal, but is it a good deal if you don't actually need the stuff? So be honest with yourself, sit down and go, do I need that seventh set of pair of headphones? R.A. Sternberg. The answer is probably no. The other 6 that you've got will do a good job. But anyway, hope that answers the question. Just be vigilant. I think that's the takeaway message. And that means we're at the end of another show. So until next time, keep your screens clean and you're not